Alright, so here we go. So as you're finding yourself comfortably relaxed, notice how you can start settling in. And when you're on your own, listening to this recording also, you might notice as you enter the bed for the first time of the day, or perhaps whenever it is time for sleep, notice the texture of the sheets, or the things that make the bed comfortable. It's kind of a reminder for the body just to slow down, consolidate, and prepare for sleep. And today we're going to talk a little bit about sleep and transitioning and thoughts and memories, a lot of different parts, and how they can just kind of help us transition to sleep also, as we transition our mind from one state to another. So go ahead and let your body just start settling in. A good first step, perhaps sinking into that place you're laying. And then allow your breathing just to mimic slow, deep breaths that kind of mimic sleeping waves, rhythmic. Slowing down. That's right. In through the nose, cool air going in, warm air going out. Breathing in relaxation, let go of tension. Just kind of letting your breath be the guide to relax you and allow you to go even deeper. Deeper and deeper relaxed. Strong with the breath in as you focus inward. Letting go a little bit of that muscle tension. Very good. And on this next two gentle deep breaths, notice how you can deep breath in, hold your breath at the top, and let go. Letting go of the body, same as your mind and thoughts can be let go. Another deep breath in. Hold. Let go of any remaining yuck or thoughts or whatever it is. Let it go. Feel that release of tension. That's right. And then begin to visualize just like you're at a waterfall. That roaring sound as that water's traveled thousands of miles to meet you. And the cool part is when you're at a waterfall, there's these little misty little particles that fly and kind of typically hit the body. Not overwhelming, not overpowering, just gently. But our thoughts can be a little bit misty, just like the water can be. Let it become misty, where things that are focused and too racing with thoughts, let it become misty as well. Our thoughts can come, kind of go. Just like the water where the thoughts have traveled. The thoughts have traveled from one location to another, but they come and go. And how interesting it is when your mind's in charge of where it needs to focus. When it focuses on calming things, it's only natural that the mind and body will follow to become exactly that. Calm, relaxed, softening and soothing. Calm and relaxed. And now I want you to imagine, just as if though you're in nature in this beautiful place, stepping from 5 to 1 down a staircase. Who knows what it's made out of, whether it's stone, wood, something else, maybe even dirt. You decide. But notice how we're going to go from 5 to 1. When we get to 1, we're just going to be in that beautiful forest for a moment, and just the way you want it. So here we go, 5. Slowing down, 4. Next step down now. Floating and drifting as the mind goes. Floating and drifting. 3. Breathing, slowing down, body relaxing more. The more it relaxes, the more it is easy to imagine. 2, almost there now. When we get to 1, we're going to step out into the dirt, that rich soil, beautiful place. I'm sure you've hiked at places before that are phenomenal. And even the rhythm it feels like when you walk on the path. Here we go, stepping onto that path. 1, notice the colors in that path, vibrant colors. Just like a sponge where you absorb it all. When you're in nature, you absorb the grounding sensations, keeping things soothing and calm. And as you walk down the path, going forward, you're particularly going to eventually stop among a tree. I'm not sure which tree or where. But it's going to be a particular bird's nest. When you see this tree, you can see these little chicklings. The mother, as this mother brings the little worms and food digested in the stomach, and as amusing as it is, barfing it back out into the mouth. But that bird's nurturing the children. And the thing about birds is that mother will nurture those birds until they've got enough feathers, not the fuzzy ones that first grow. But the ones that are solid. Those little birds get brave and daring. They start flapping the wings. Not quite leaving the nest yet, but they're getting curious. Eventually, the mother bird will feed a little bit less food and perhaps put it further away from the bird's nest where they have to go out on a limb a little bit to eat it. And as exciting as it is for those little birds to reach out and fly the coop, fly the nest, it's also can feel a little bit of a grief. It feels good when you're supporting and nurturing. But it's an important part of life, because if that bird didn't stop feeding those little birdlings, they would never take a risk. They would not spread their wings and fly. It'd be a dead bird in the nest. And just the same as your children are getting older and they fly the coop, transitioning. The mind can play out dreams that are like death, or concerns about bad things happening in these bizarre ways. And all that means when you see that is that there's been a big change that happened, a transition. Transition with the birds leaving the nest, or a butterfly transitioning. Nature's full of transitions. And although it can be scary at first, accept, embrace change. For when you accept and embrace change, you move forward, adapt, and evolve. Death in dreams is just the representation of transitions. It doesn't have to be a scary thing. It's natural. And when we're worried about transitions, we can carve out some time during the day so nighttime becomes this peaceful, quiet place. Sacred, in fact. For when you have worry time during the day, it's like pouring out a glass of water. Water being the thoughts, or perhaps even your body being a sponge. And you squeeze the sponge. The body is squeezed with all the liquid inside representing stress or worry, letting it out. Visualize that now. Body as if though it's a sponge, filled with water, representing the stress or worry or whatever it is. And when you're ready, but only when you're ready, squeeze that sponge out, all the things you don't need to hold. Let it go. As you let it go, notice how the thoughts can become lighter as they're no longer needing to be heavy. Lighter and lighter the sponge. Thoughts can drift like a cloud. And perhaps you might even notice a lightness feel to it. Notice how curious you can become. And feeling lighter and lighter. Lighter and lighter. And just like other hypnosis or other things you've done before, the mind becomes lighter, body becomes lighter. You can associate a color with it. Notice what color that is for you. Light's interesting in a way where if it reflects off what we call a prism, it'll reflect off different colors, perhaps like a rainbow. Which means different ways you feel could be different colors. And at any time when you're asleep, if your body feels like it needs to move or do things, notice how your mind can imagine it moving, but it doesn't need to move because it's moving in its mind. And when we have worry that naturally comes up or concern in our dreams, notice how you can just, in your dreams, make a sponge and squeeze it out. Not holding it. It's transitioning back to the way the body needs to be during sleep. Rested, calm. Refreshed. My favorite part of being refreshed is those chocolate with the mints. You know that refresh feel it gives after the chocolate. Mine's like that too. Squeezing the sponge out with stress is that chocolate with mint. Or the body like a fresh shower after feeling completely warm and clean and so fresh. So next time you listen to this recording or perhaps attempt to sleep, let your mind, let your body transition. Let it evolve. If you have a bad dream, let it squeeze the sponge and evolve back to lightness. Or maybe even reinterpret something that may look uncomfortable to be comfortable. And as you do that, life in itself becomes easier, softer, adaptable. So give yourself the next 60 seconds of clock time before we move on, and give yourself a gentle moment to drift and float, perhaps with colors or something else that works for you. A creative state of mind, whatever it may be, as you're creative. And when I talk again, Notice how comforting and calming that can be even more. And you may notice as you continue listening to this, eventually you're going to drift in and drift out. Don't fight it, embrace it, accept it. When you drift in and out, your mind can decide when it wants to pay attention, and if it doesn't, that's okay too. All that's happening is your mind going from one state of mind, which is focused, to a more creative state, to a very sleepy state, to letting your body and mind do what it needs. And I may keep talking in this recording or whatnot, but at some point, notice how your mind can eventually start letting my voice be like a mist, a background, a white noise. And notice what comes next, naturally, automatically, effortlessly. And you can be curious about how you can drift. Allow the mind to be creative and drift even more. Even more. Whether things with surroundings or noises or whatever it may be that don't fit, notice how you can adapt it to not care. Sponging it out. And if you can squeeze the sponge to get rid of stress, you can always reabsorb calm. Eventually, as my voice stops, you may hear sound and music and those things as you attune to the rhythm, drifting you to sleep even further. And at some point, you might even have a point where the voice stops and music stops. But that doesn't mean your mind has to stop. It can continue its own rhythm, its own thoughts that continue to keep you sleeping until it's only time to wake. For you're the one in control. Be your own bird, perhaps, to soar through the skies. You can do something like being the child flying the kite for the first time again. Whatever it is that's creative and calming, occupying the mind of calm or it could be nothing, like white noise, like a mist.